where we talk about things about finances, real estate, and all in between. So we want to go ahead and welcome everybody. Let us know where you're chiming in from because we definitely want to know just to see if we can cover coast to coast and all in between and maybe even go international. You never know. So let us know who is out there, where you chiming in from, so we can shout you out and welcome you and glad that you are here today. Who is out there? Well, I'm going to go ahead and shout you out. I see Alvin, welcome. I saw also Royalty, Rich Rising Family from ATL is in the building. Welcome. I see Carrie out there. Welcome. Hey, who else is out there? Let us know where you are chiming in from. We are so glad that you're spending this time with us when you could be someplace else. We definitely value and appreciate it as well. And we definitely have a good topic today that affects everybody, one way or another. So you just never know what we're going to talk about. Who else is out there? Glad you are here joining us today. As you can see, our video in the background. If you ever want to know what that is about, get back to the person that invited you. They can let you know. Absolutely. Oh, we got more people coming in. Come on in. Absolutely. Welcome. All right. Welcome, Felicia. Maya, welcome. Come on in. Let us know where you're chiming in from. We appreciate you showing up as well. As I always say, we definitely have a lot of things to talk about. Can you imagine? Finances alone is a lot to talk about. Real estate is a lot to talk about. And all in between, things that financially affect us. But we truly believe that the things that we wish we would have had around the dinner table, and maybe you did have it around the dinner table. Some people did not, some people did. So we just definitely want to make sure that everybody gets the knowledge all at once. Because we do believe in sharing the knowledge. Now, what you do with it, that's up to you. You all. Absolutely. I know we got smiling faces out there, including the Juice Crew, smiling from ear to ear. Yes, we are definitely a happy bunch. So, without further ado, we want to share with you so many people behind the scenes are talented and they share their talent with us as well as leaving behind what they are good at doing. So we are glad that we have that opportunity to grab that talent and share it every single time. Please and feel free to enjoy the video of our own Juice Crew and our own Juice Show video as well. Feel free to dance along if you please as we get it all set up and ready for you.
power. How far will you go to get it?
Yes, it is the juice. How far will you go to get the juice and the power to put yourself in empowerment of your own life? So, without further ado, let me introduce to you the Juice Crew. We have James, we have Jerry, we have Bobby, we also have Teresa, as well as myself. And behind the scenes, sometimes you cannot see, is Chauncey. So, without further ado, take it away, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. So a few months ago, I watched my grandmother plant her garden. She bent down into the dirt, dropping tiny seeds into rows she carefully prepared. The whole time she talked about how each seed had a different season. Some would sprout in days, some would take weeks, and some wouldn't bloom until next year. But she still planted them all because she knew what she wanted her harvest to look like. That's exactly how life works. Every conversation you have, every dollar you invest, every skill you learn is a seed. And here's the truth: the ground will always give you back what you planted. If you plant nothing, you will harvest nothing. If you plant carelessly, you get weeds. But if you plant with intention, patience, and consistency, you will reap a harvest you can't even measure right now. So the real question isn't, will I have a harvest? The question is, what kind of harvest am I planting right now? Because what we're going to talk about today, equity, real estate, insurance, credit, building family legacy, these are the seeds that will feed generations.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that, Teresa. So we want to start off with a short story, and it's all about, are you planting the seed for your family? Are you the first one? Is it going, if it's up to be, is it up to you who's going to do it, right? So who's planting the seed? Who is sitting at the family gatherings being the boring person who's talking about, hey, auntie, hey, uncle, hey, grandma, hey, cousin, what type of resources that do you have? Can we start a family bank? Can we build wealth together? Can we utilize some of the houses within our family, right? The equity in that to go out and purchase more family property, right? So those are things that we're thinking about when we think about this topic of building a family legacy. So the things that come up, I'm gonna bring it up, is a couple wealth factors. And these are the wealth factors that you guys want to start thinking about when you're building your family legacy. So I'm going to share my screen really fast. I got some slides I want to pull up. And we're going to have a conversation. So definitely utilize the chat. So let's start off here, right? This is what we come to know in our community. And it starts off with the 5 pillars of wealth, right? And I got them listed 1 through 5 right here. So if you got a phone or a laptop, you want to take a screenshot of this. This is very, very important because this is how the wealthy create wealth, keep their wealth, store their wealth, and be able to maintain it for generations to generations, then pass it down. Remember, the Juice Show is all about the conversations. What we wish we would have had coming up at the dinner table. So Jerry talked a little bit about the taxes last week, which was real good. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Jerry. He can explain a little bit about why the wealthy people focus so heavy on taxes.
The reason being taxes is a big.
We can see your mouth moving, we just can't hear no audio. And you're on mute. There you go.
Audio. You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, cool. So taxes, guys. As I alluded to last week, you pay more in taxes over your lifespan, right, than you pay in food, water, and shelter, right? So that means that taxes is a really, truly a big expense. And once you understand in business how the tax code is built to help your business, then you kind of get the understanding of why that is a pillar in terms of building wealth, right? Man, if you just look at $100,000 a year business, right? That business is only going to get taxed 10% if you understand how the tax code works, right? 10% or less, right? So meaning that you earn $100,000, you should only be paying 10% of that, $10,000 or less on that $100,000. If you earn $100,000 in your social security number, the government is taking $30,000 from you. So it's worth understanding, like, wait, there's a way that I can not get $30,000 taken from me if I earn $100,000. That might be the route to go. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you what to do, but we can tell you it might be advantageous for you to plant that seed, as she just said, to make sure that you're not overpaying in taxes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, coming with taxes, you want to own nothing and control everything. And you want to do that. We'll get deeper into that later in the discussion on how to set that up. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Yeah, it's cool because that rolls right into the next one, which is business. And so business and taxes go right together. And the reason being is you get punished being a W-2 employee, but you get incentivized by becoming a business. And anyone can start a business even today. And in order to be classified as a business by the IRS, you have to make at least $1. I know that sounds like a lot and sounds very hard to do, but it's just $1. So you can start your business. And the reason why you want to start your business is because you get to take advantage of the D word, right? And the D word is deduction. Yeah, the deduction. So deductions help lower your tax burden, your taxable income, they call it, right? So once you lower your tax income, then you're paying less in taxes. And that's how the wealthy, when you hear about the wealthy people paying less in taxes, like Donald Trump and a few other recognizable people, that's because they're using the IRS rules and codes that they thumb through or their attorneys thumb through. So that way that more the money that they're making in their business, they can pass along to their family. They can put it back into their business to kind of, generate more revenue and kind of expand outwards and stuff into their business. So taxes, like Jerry said, is huge when you understand that the employee is paying 30 to 40 to 50% of taxes. The business owner is lowering their taxes by utilizing all these deductions that they have, and you pay less in taxes. So, so the next we run road to is the banking part of it, right? And each one of these, I do want to recognize that we do have extensive classes on, hours on hours in each one segmented, so you guys can understand these things. But banking is always another one, right? Because in our lifetime, the most of the money that we give away goes to taxes and interest. So in understanding banking, you understand that depending on the type of loan that you take out, you understand that you have to pay interest on that. So you'll see another slide. We're going to talk about good debt versus bad debt. So just understand that you want to lower the amount of interest that you pay on things like your personal loans, auto loans, or even credit cards. So you start understanding banking, you get to keep more of the money once you understand interest. All right, somebody else can cover real estate.
Yeah, wait, I want to touch on a little bit of the banking. Okay. Understanding the difference between loans and lines, right? Lines of credits and loans are two different products, right? And so understanding how your business, right, how your business operates is totally different from someone else's, right? In our world, in our real estate world, in terms of our banking, right? The different type of real estate you're doing, you are using different types of funding, right? And so this is all kind of connected to the banking side of this, right? You may be using what we call hard money. You may be using private money, right? And so different types of funding in terms of banking for your business, you must know the value and in which how they play a part in what you're doing, in what your business does, right? Flipping houses, whole different funding situation than it would be for, let's say, a short-term rental, or what you guys may know of as that Airbnb, right? So the funding side of that, I might have a line of credit funding my short-term rental business, right? But I might have hard money borrowed a loan, right, for my fix and flip business, right? So different types of funding really and how you bank with your business is so important, right?
Right. Right. And some people don't know that there's other options outside of just going to the bank. What Jerry was mentioning is definitely private money and hard money. And I guess we can go into the real estate.
I just wanted to add to the banking as well. Whatever financial institution you're using, bank or mortgage company, get to know what their mission or purpose is, and get in line with, if you're going to continue to use them, get in line with what they're looking for. Because if you are applying for credit, if you're using any of their services, you probably want to be in line with what they're looking for, what they want, so that it doesn't necessarily give you a delay, possibly because they're like, oh, this person is in line with what we're doing, or just know what they're going to be looking for when you do apply, so that it makes it a much easier, smoother application when you do apply, or knowing that you're not going to get approved because of what they might be looking for. So back to you guys. All right, real estate.
Real estate. All right, so let's talk about it, right? Oh, we got a Zoom user in the building. Hey, Zoom user, what's your name, Zoom user? I had just put the link inside of Facebook, so we might got somebody hopped over there. So Zoom user, type your name in the chat. Yeah, so let's talk about real estate, right? And the thing, but I guess the topic that we're talking about is debt and assets. And in terms of assets, real estate in our world is the prime asset, right? We look to purchase real estate at a discount, right? And to hold that real estate as long as possible for that passive income. And that's how you leverage real estate to actually help you build wealth. And so it's no one real estate deal or transaction that can make a break, right? But as you accumulate more real estate, that's what allows you to start to build that wealth, right? So building real estate assets with debt, right? And that's what we are talking about when we talk about what is good debt and what is bad debt. And we're going to go off into that in just a second. But
yeah, it's the next slide. Yeah.
Utilizing debt to actually purchase income producing assets is what we deemed as good debt, right? So we'll talk about that in a second. Go ahead, guys.
All right. So what about the education? Now, everything comes down to knowing and having the knowledge, the know-how in order how to put these things in order so you can start building your 5 pillars of wealth. And at the end, we're going to go through more of the education, but we advise you, this is also a disclaimer. We're not telling you how to do anything. We're not telling you how to set up anything, but actually get educated in these things so you can start making these things happen for you and your family, because this is what it's about, you know, building generational wealth. Everybody wants that, but nobody wants to put in the time or what it takes to get educated in order to make these things happen. They don't feel like they have to invest in themselves, but it starts with the education of being educated. These are things that we're learning and still learning and will forever be learning as long as we're connected in order to make these things happen. So invest in yourself, get educated so you can start understanding better how to set yourself up and start planting the seeds.
Yeah, so the wealthy people are always educating themselves. Like I go to different workshops and events all the time, and I see people making millions and millions of dollars and have been so for a very long time. And we pose the question, what are you doing here? And they say, you can never stop learning. Always keep learning is what they say. So Bobby is spot on when he say education is important because laws change every single year, depending on your president, depending on the type of government that we have in place, right? They have many new things on the books, right? That changes things. So you always want to stay educated to what's current. So that way you don't make the mistakes and getting yourself into any legal mistakes or end up losing some of your wealth because you're not up to date to what's going on. So we definitely push education. We are education. We don't sell drugs. We push education. We're education pushers. So we are big fans of education, and it's definitely changed our life for the better because of it. So definitely want to educate your children, get them on the Juice Show, bring your family members and friends, and start learning about these things that wasn't taught to us. All right.
Hey,
So,
I'm gonna need my beautiful Zoom user to put her name in the chat. I want to keep you on the meeting, but I can't keep you on with Zoom user. I gotta have your name in there, please.
all right, so next we're gonna go into good debt versus bad debt. I had to make the slide fit the screen, so I know it's kind of spaced out. But on the left side, we're gonna talk about real estate investing. It says taking out a mortgage for a rental property that generates income or a property that appreciates in value is a great reason to have good debt, right? You're taking out debt to own real estate, and that real estate is paying you every single month. It's probably in the area that goes up in value, so you're benefiting from that appreciation. And guess what? As that tenant is paying you every month, part of that payment is going towards the principal. And as you eat away at that principal, you're also building equity that way, okay? And then you also get to write off your interest payments. So just take that into account. Now, on the bad debt, right, on the real estate investing side, it says using a high interest loan to buy a vacation home that doesn't generate income and may depreciate in value. Okay. Anyone want to read the business ownership one, or you want me to keep going?
Business ownership. Obtaining a business loan to start a new company, expand operations, or invest in equipment that will increase revenue. So these are business ownership is also in the four quadrants, the side that you will want to be on. All right, and the bad debt is business ownership, using a high interest credit card to pay on non-essential business expenses that don't contribute to growth or profitability. All right, so those are the two sides as far as being on the good side and the bad side. So depending on what you want to be on, everybody knows everybody wants to be on the left side and maintaining proper business ownership in order to make these type of thing happen. So it all goes back to being educated and being informed of what way and how to set up everything to make sure everything goes good for you and your business and make sure it's profitable.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What I would like to say too is a lot of the time when we taking on good debt, like Bobby says, because we're educated, so we're using more the logical side of our brain. And then sometimes the time we buy the bad debt is because we give in to emotions that make us want to buy things. And don't get me wrong, like I have a lot of nice things that don't make money, right? But just as long as you're educated and you understand what you're doing before you do it, usually making take out bad debt maybe for emotional things, or sometimes you just need, maybe need furniture and you don't have the money right off hand to get it. So don't feel wrong for doing that. Do it, but just understand interest payments that's on there. Understand the numbers and what you're gonna pay back for that furniture.
Hey, that leads me to a question. Does being completely debt-free means that you're truly wealthy? Right? If I answered that question, right? Just thinking about that, does being debt-free, I don't got no debt, right? Does that mean that I'm wealthy? And I would answer that as absolutely no, right? Because I kind of look at that as people that have good credit scores, but they're not using their credit, right? You got access to that money, or you got access to a certain amount of income or whatever, right? But you're not using it, right? So that don't make you wealthy just because you don't have any debt, right?
Right. So could credit cards ever be considered good debt?
Yeah, I would say how you use it, right? Are you using it to make money, right? Are you using it to get your first short-term rental started, right? And that short-term rental is paying back that credit card, so you're not coming out of pocket. I love one thing that Robert Kiyosaki says when he talks about assets versus liability. The simple way to think of it, he says, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. So it just depends. I think really debt is neutral until you really figure out, until you kind of to what you, and then it becomes good or bad based on how you use it. It's like using a knife, right? It can slice watermelon. It can do some amazing things, but if you use it wrong, then it can also hurt you, right?
What
So
about a mortgage? Is that good or bad debt?
usually, you get into the conversation of mortgages, you hear the big conversation is owning a house or owning like a rental property. So I would say it depends. My answer would be it depends. If you take out a mortgage and that mortgage is on a rental property, the tenant's paying off their mortgage and you got cash flow, or maybe you just got flat cash flow, right? But you're still getting appreciation, depreciation, and principal pay down. I would consider that as good debt on the mortgage side for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. No, I have a question for the guests or the people that's online. So, does anybody know why would wealthy people use debt even when they have the cash in order to buy something?
I like that question. That's for Facebook too. Anybody that's watching Facebook right now, definitely put your answers in the comment section.
All right, we got one already. Dion J said leverage.
Ooh,
Leverage.
spot on. Spot
Yeah.
on.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Dion. Yes.
So what did Yolanda say?
Yolanda said to pay for more assets. Yeah.
Absolutely. To get some more bread coming in. Nice,
Yeah.
nice, y'all.
I gotta answer this question. Let me see if anybody else. I want to see if somebody else answered it.
Yeah, don't be shy,
I
y'all.
would say,
Y'all can even come off mute.
yeah, for me, it's always the thing us investors care about the most, and that's ROI. That's
Mhm.
about my return on investment. I know if I spend the least amount of money out of pocket, my returns should be better. So, like Dion said, that leverage, being able to leverage that, you get a higher return on investment. Jerry says during the week, he the king of not wanting to spend any money for any properties. He believes in getting properties for free. So Jerry's return on investment is always, in that case, infinite.
Infinite.
So that's just something that he got set in his mind. And I guess because he intentionally wants that, it started to come to fruition for him and he's able to do those things. Right. So good question, but I really like that question. All right, I think nothing else is in the chat. So let's finish up with financial literacy here at the bottom. Good debt for financial literacy, securing a loan for education, right? Or professional training that leads to a higher paying job and better financial future. right? So you can replace job with business or whatever, but job is definitely great to have while you're on your investor journey. So you keep that money coming so you can pay your bills while you build your business. Then, so bad debt, accumulating debt from consumer goods like a new car, which depreciates quickly, electronics, or a luxury vacation.
But what are assets? Which assets are the worst to buy with debt? You just said one of them. I really truly think buying like the cars, like I'm not this like personal property type of, ooh, I need to be in the freshest dress clothes. Although I do like to dress nice on occasions, right? When I'm going somewhere and I'm doing something, I do like to be nice. Like people be like, oh, okay, I see you, right? I don't know. I think it's just a Detroit thing, right? But anyway, but I see a lot of people, spend money in places where they don't have a lot of knowledge. Oh, I bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin, but they really don't understand how Bitcoin works, right? Or they would invest in something and not have the knowledge of that, right? And so here in our world, we thinking you get knowledgeable about a real estate strategy, and then that's what you put your money into, right? Because you know about it, right? And you learning about it, right? You don't want to invest in something with a broker, right? You invest with the broker, they make you broker, right? That's just the same. But still, you want to invest in what you know, right? And so that's the best asset to kind of invest in, the assets that you know about, right? So
Right.
we asked
Yeah.
that question of which asset is the worst to invest in. That answer is the one that you don't know much about, right? You just blindly going into it like, oh, well, I heard they can make some money at this, so I'll just throw some money at
Right.
it.
I
That's
like to add
Go ahead, LaShawn.
I like to add to that. So, majority of people think and assume and know that an automobile is going to depreciate. But how can you turn that around in a positive way? Well, you can turn around and do, DoorDash or Uber or just medical carrier, something that you're using that car, but now you're turning that car into a business. You're able to write off your expenses, your maintenance on that vehicle. So that even though it does appreciate, you're able to counteract the car payment if you are financing it or, the maintenance and things like that, that you're going to pay for it, but then you can also potentially write it off. So bad debt on some end, you can turn it around and make it a positive asset as well. Back to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, so it's so funny you came out because now we just brought up the cash flow quadrant. And LaShawn, she was doing cash flow games many weekends with other people. They would play the game and she would come up with different questions to ask them, like, how could you use that car to make money? What we call idle assets, right? Things that you think that don't make money. How could you use those? And then you start thinking outside of the box. And so a lot of us probably heard of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A lot of people I hear at different events say that's like the introduction for them of like starting getting a mind into like owning properties and real estate, right? If you understand or that book or heard that story. But this is the cash flow quadrant right here that you see on the screen. So I'm gonna ask for some participation. I'm gonna ask a question. The question is, where do you think the wealthy live at the most, right? Are they on the left side where you see the E and the S, E for employee, S for self-employed? Or do you think that majority of their wealth and everything is because of they live on the right side of the quadrant where it talks about being a business owner and investor? Let's light up the chat and let's see what you guys got to say. Also, Facebook too, put into the comments what you think, the left side or the right.
I want to be on the right side. I'm gonna just let you know that right now. I want to
Royalties.
stay on the right side.
Royalty
Yeah.
said R for right side. Anybody else? Yolanda, right side all day long. Exclamation mark.
Let's light up that
Let me
chat,
check
people.
Facebook. Let me see what everybody. So this, you have to answer the question. So what side? It ain't no, whatever
It's,
your answer
and
is.
there's no
Fine.
right or wrong. It's no right or wrong in this question.
Absolutely.
Like, because there's nothing wrong with, having a nice job. Like, some people like their job. You know what I'm saying? Some people like being self-employed. So
And
All right, we got 2 people on Facebook watching. I didn't see nothing in the comments yet. Go ahead, LaShawn.
I was going to say that, some people rather, they, like Jerry said, they like their job and they want to keep it. Sometimes people keep their job because of the benefits. If you own your own business, you might end up paying more for benefits than if you're an employee. But you can always look for a job as an employee so that it's not taking up most of your time. Maybe work part-time, maybe work full-time, but at the same time, you have your benefits to that job. But then on the other side, you're working on your business part-time. So
Right.
there's always good and I'm gonna say there's always good and there's always ways to improve wherever you are on this quadrant. It just depends on what you want to do, and where you want to go. But definitely
Yeah.
there's a lot more money because the whole idea is that you are having the money work for you and not you work for the money. Thank you guys.
Right. Yep, that leverage. So it's all about making more and paying less. So as you can see, based on the chat, everybody is saying R. They believe that the wealthy is living their life on the right side of the quadrant. Right. We got Alvin, Michaela, and Maya also. And then Jason said, "Is it bad to be in all 4 quadrants with a question mark? To be in all 4 at once? Oh man." Woo, that sounds like a lot of work, but I wouldn't say it's bad. I just think that once you understand that what a wealthy play at, then you too can utilize that same information and be in the same ball game that they are playing in. So appreciate that,
hey,
Jay.
I would
It
say,
depends
I
on the
would say, I
person.
would say a lot of people are in all of them, man. They don't even realize it.
And that
He just said he's in all of them.
exactly.
Man,
It's
trust me when I tell you, I'm in all of them.
Yeah, I'm in all of them too. I'm in all of them too. So
Mhm.
that's what it is. I have the
Yeah.
job. I got my own business. I'm a business owner. Plus, I'm an investor. So I'm knocking them all out. Try to get the bread from all 4 corners until I don't need till I don't need the left side.
All right, so let's explain it. So the employee,
However, I was going to say, how efficient is it though? See, that's
right.
how
Mhm.
efficient
So
are you?
this is a great breakdown of what we're talking about. So the E, the employee, if you read along, you have a job, you have no leverage, right? And so the amount of active work determines your income, meaning you have to get out of bed, you have to go perform a task, right? You have to trade your time for money, right? So that's what employee does, right? And you feel like you're on this hamster wheel, you feel like you're in a rat race, but you're doing it for a while until you can start pushing yourself over to the right side, right? What we're gonna talk about. So then the S is self-employed, right? If anybody been self-employed, you know you burnt out because you wearing all the hats, right? You own, so remember, the employee, you have a job, self-employed, you own a job, right? And that's 95% of the population. So the amount of active work determines your income. Remember, again, you're trading your time for money. So now if we cross over to the right side and we talk about where the wealthy live at, right? It's because you're trying to move from the left to the right. And the right, you got B for business owner, right? Business owner is because you own a system, right? And you use leverage, like Dion said. That's the key, is to use leverage, right? So you can get back your time freedom, so you can be in the park with your kids. You can go to different things that you always want to do, and just keep on that way. So what the business owner says, people work with you, right? So now you're not just doing it alone. You got other people who are also have the same purpose. They want to create income, right? They want to create wealth for their family. So now you got people working with you, and hopefully some of them are much smarter than us, so that way they can assist us, and then you do less work, right? But you make more money. And I don't think no one here would dislike making more money and working less, right? Would you? So put a D if you would dislike that, and put a if you would like to make more money and work less, put L for like. All right, so then you got investor. I'm sorry, I skipped over. So you got I for investor. Oh, we're going too far forward. Okay. So I is for investor. You own investments, right? You using leverage again, and this is 5% of the population. Income does not depend on active work. This is more of your passive income. This is you buying a rental property, putting tenants in there, and they're paying the monthly mortgage payments, and you're getting cash flow. So, or you're maybe doing tax liens and you're getting interest income, or maybe you're a private money lender, you done graduated, right? And now you're a lender and you're making that interest payments, or maybe you're doing seller finance notes, like what Jerry covers in his amazing training, and you're sitting back, you're becoming the bank, not the landlord. So you don't have all the issues, right? You don't have to do all the maintenance on the property. You don't have to deal with tenants, toilets, and termites. You're just getting that interest money. That's an investor. That's where you guys want to be at. Business owners and investors help you speed up your the clock to create more wealth.
All right, y'all
Hey,
see a hot question in there, y'all. If you had to choose one, would you choose good debt or would you choose no debt? Good debt or no debt? I just want to know. Good debt.
I would say it depends, but I would definitely always leaning more on the good debt all the time, all day, every day.
Well, if
Like
anybody is
Kayla
thinking
said, it's
depends,
good debt.
if anybody is thinking depends on what exactly.
Depends on where you at. In my case, it would be depend on where you at in your situation. If you had to utilize it, then you have to use it. Is some cases where you probably will utilize it, but the good debt is what you really want to focus on. So yeah, the chat is lit up with good debt, good debt, good debt, good debt.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're right. I see some people on Facebook. I didn't put that question in Facebook. Sorry, y'all. Maybe I
So what I wanted to add was the person that was asking about doing all four, I would say the percentage is what makes the difference, and it's always going to be changing. If you're in all four, you can't do all one at 100. So basically, the percentage is constantly changing either every day or every week because of what's going on. So it's nothing wrong with being in all four, but it depends on what works for you as an individual. All right, back to you guys.
All right, before we get into the announcements section, I was asking our team like who is really like sitting down with your family at family reunions or barbecue, birthdays, graduations, stuff like that, and having these conversations with your family members about things like equity. Who owns a property and they paid down some of the mortgage. Now you got equity that you can borrow from. Like who has, great credit score in case I have a great deal. Who do I want to come to that's here at today's family gathering? Like who can I come to who got a good credit score who would like to do a real estate deal with me? Like who has a 401k or IRA, that's compiled and got money in it that they can loan money from, right? Those are a couple of things. Who got we said credit, IRAs, maybe even life insurance policies, whole life, where they can borrow money from that policy and then end up paying it back once the deal is done. Like who owns real estate or who owns land in the family, and what do you guys plan on? What are your plans on, like, or how can we get together and build a family bank, right, or whatever that looks like? And a lot of people do that with those whole life insurance plans. But I would just say put in the chat if that's you. Put a Y in the chat if you do that with your family, If you have those discussions within your house, if you're not doing that right now, just put an N in the chat. All right, Bobby?
Negative. I done ran all my people away. Negative.
So at least he opened up the conversation about it. But Bobby was sharing yesterday that he's actually doing it, and I was inspired by what he was sharing with us yesterday, and I thought that was cool.
Hey, I got a question. What's one money rule you tell others, but you don't actually do it yourself? Hey, man, one of mine is so like inside of Garrett Gunderson's wealth management class, he talks about having 3 separate accounts. One is your fund account, one is that important business only account. It's only done for your business. And then you got that account where you put where like you might want to go on a trip or something. Y'all want to do something later. So that account is for just when y'all want to do
Miscellaneous.
Yeah. And so, you know, I always talk about these 3 accounts, right? Or I'll be talking to people and just because it sounds so great, right? But I ain't actually implementing that, right? So, you know, that's one of the money rule kind of things that I've learned here in this community, but I haven't effectively started applying that in my world. And I'm glad we having this conversation because it allows me to reflect, and it really kind of like get busy, man. What are you playing? But yeah, so that's one of the money rules. I just wanted to ask y'all, like, is there anything that y'all preach about money? Yeah, hey, I only spend this much on my credit card, but really you max it out, right? So what is it that, you know, you might share with people that you don't actually follow, right? Is there anything that you guys do?
All right. While you guys are thinking of that, I'm gonna
Yeah, I
go
was just
through.
gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah, while you guys are thinking on that, I'll go through the announcements. We got some answers in the chat that we probably have LaShawn read after we come out. Then we wrap it up with the education on where we're learning this, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna go through these right quick. Every Sunday, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, you want to be right here on the Juice Show, where we will continue bringing you the juice, whether we're doing it ourselves or we're interviewing guests, letting you know what's happening, knowing their backstory, and having the conversations you wish you had at the dinner table. All right, man. Let's go. All right, coming up right at this, where we learning this information. All right, this is the introduction to real estate investing, who we are, what we do, and who you can get involved with. All right, and if you've been on here numerous times or know about this, what's holding you back? Everybody should be involved, or if this does sound like a good idea, or doing something else rather than what you're doing, so you can set yourself up for a better lifelong and have your family involved as well. This is where you would like to get started. We'd love to have you. Love continue building with each and every one of you. All right, coming up right also 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. Make the call, secure the deal with the great James Gavin himself, where he'll be doing some cold calling. So if you're new to that, you can jump on as well to see how everything's going. So in the future weekends, you'll be able to join in as well if you feel to do so. But make sure you check out my man. He's doing a cold calling marathon. Pick up the phone, make the call, secure the deal. All right, also 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, we have the Real Estate Mastermind. Come analyze and get your deals and questions answered. If you have a lead that you're unsure about, want to run the numbers, you know, a lot of people don't want to feel uncomfortable, but, you know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, expand your comfort zone, and come get your questions answered as far as how you found it, how are you going to fund it, what's your exit strategies, what's the best way to go about it, how things look on your end. Did you think about this? Did you think about this deduction, the closing costs? Did you add in your numbers? This is where you come and get your analyze and your leads looked at by other investors in the community to help you get to the closing table. All right, the Juice Show Podcast Facebook page. Make sure you like, follow, leave a review. If you showed up late, if you like to see the replay or the replay of the last few, make sure you come check us out. Make sure you come, and if you have any suggestions that you like to leave, please let us know, or somebody that you like to see on the show that we haven't seen yet. Maybe somebody in the community that you're dealing with that you believe they have a nice story. Make sure you let us know so we can reach out to them and connect. And we'll definitely have them on the Juice Show, bringing you some more juice, keeping you hydrated. All right. Next, we got Deals of the Community. Community. All right, Deals of the Community. These are the people taking action from the education, making things happen. All right, if you'd like to see your name up here and you've done some deals, let us know because we love to put your name up here and celebrate you. This is all about celebration, collaboration over competition here at the community of real estate investing. If you need support, we got that too. You want to get educated and learn more, we got that too. So make sure you reach out to the person who invited you, or if you're a guest, or if you know someone who maybe this possibly could benefit, let us know. Let's connect because we're always looking to help build relationships within the community, strengthen our education, and continue building. All right. Let's go.
Awesome, Bobby.
Let's go.
Man, I just love every time announcements that we end off with that slide, the deals of the community. Because me, I came in like seeing is believing, and when you see all those names, 48 people, including our 49th, which is LaShawn. She did an amazing property tour this Wednesday, her and Jerry, covering a brand new short-term rental that they got, and they furnished it, and it's up on the platform, and they're already getting bookings, and so it's just a beautiful thing to know that you can get educated in one place, you can join a community in the same place, and you can really realize real results, right? And so that's a beautiful thing. I like that we end off with that slide. With that being said, LaShawn, what do we have in the chat? I think that's where we're going next with it.
Yes. What we have in the chat is Alvin from Ohio, and he is sharing, my aunt drives a school bus, and during the time when school is out, she receives unemployment. On the unemployment form, it requires her to declare whether she has a business or not, and her unemployment benefit could be offset by business income. What are your thoughts about that?
Got no business. That's just me, y'all. I'm tripping. But yeah, so that is where the decision of the individual, right? In terms of, so your business income is totally separate from your personal, right? And so, like, you definitely don't want to share anything that's telling someone to do something illegal, right? However, it is that personal decision of yours to make when you are, you got to kind of like figure out what best fits your situation. Everybody's situation is different, right? And so that kind of question is kind of tailored to that person. And so I wouldn't want to give a definite answer of, what to do, right? I would just advise to look at the options that you have available to you, right? And make the best decision based upon the options available. Right.
I would say
Yeah, like
question, if it was me, I would say look at the definition of what they consider a business. And go from there, because maybe how you consider your own business, but then their definition of a business might be different. So
the definition
just look at
how much income you're earning. It's clear cut. What are you earning income? It ain't no yeah.
All right,
based on the business that they're asking for is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Back to you guys.
Hey, I got
that was the only thing in the chat.
There's some more in there.
All right, now
Where you at,
there's some
LaShawn?
more. So let me go ahead. Yep. Yeah, let me go ahead and finish. Okay. So the other thing that was asked in the chat was definitely need to have these conversations more frequently with my elders who own or don't own, but I sometimes feel like I'm preaching and they may not act on the info I'm sharing. However, I've sold and owned property, and I plan to prioritize it as a mature and create a family. Thank you, Maya.
Mhm.
And if you had a question in there, so now the
So
next thing that Maya says is, go ahead, Bobby.
yeah, I just wanted to say, I know people, if you speak to somebody and they're not participating or feel like you're preaching to the choir, um, if they're preaching to the choir, what are they doing? Are they doing this, or do they just assume that they know? Because if they're not putting it into action, then it's not so much preaching to the choir. If they're not putting it, making these things happen. So, so in that case, I would just lead by example. Just continue leading by example to the point where um, they have to take notice. Yeah. Also, and
Add
also,
on.
maybe how are you putting it out to them as well? How are you having that conversation with them as well? So that does make a difference. Yeah, your delivery. That's the man right there.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
got
all about
something
your
to it.
conversation.
I want to add on to
Well, we
what
don't want
Bobby
to
was
get too
saying.
far ahead because Maya did make another comment. You all asked
Real
her about
fast.
what was, people doing.
Yeah,
So
let me
Maya said, my credit
hold on real
utilization,
fast,
haha,
LaShawn.
is
Wait.
the rule.
LaShawn, hold on, wait, real fast. So to that, I want to give you a golden nugget, right? Instead of making a statement, go to them and ask them, hey, what do you think about this? I'm telling you how it works so good. And then they'll open up and say, yeah, I always thought about leaving something behind for you guys. I always thought about, using some of the money that's in my house. Don't know how to quite to do it. I've been trying to get together with my sisters and brothers on how to do it. So before you go present something that you really have that's burning your heart to them, just ask them, hey, what do you think about this? And look very curious when you ask it. And that will open up the floodgates, the things that you probably didn't know that they was willing to share with you. So start with the question. All right, go ahead, LaShawn.
The other thing that Maya shares with us is she says, my credit utilization, haha, is the rule I share most often, but sometimes I don't listen to as often. However, I locked my cards so I can lock in. So is, just a matter of sometimes, great example. What you put out there, lead by example.
Yeah, I
So
like the delivery part. I definitely know how to throw up on somebody. Blah. All this greatness, you got this, blah, 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 blah. And they like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, I got a challenge for y'all, right? I don't know who would do it, right? But I want to do it, right? I'm gonna post to any of your platform, whatever your platform is, just post the question. Should I take on 500,000 worth of debt? Just ask that question. Hey guys, can you guys help me with this? I don't know. Should I take on $500,000 worth of debt? Just see what those answers be. Ah, man, it's gonna be fire. So,
Yeah.
but I want to see who do it. I'm gonna do it.
Sound like you're gonna get a mixture of different answers.
Yeah, for sure.
So if we had to do a play back what we just covered today, we started off with a story, and the story was about who was planting the seed, right? It might be you. You might be first one in your family to do it. So just start thinking about that, right? Or go back and watch this episode again if you missed that amazing story in the beginning, right? So who are planting the seeds, right? And remember, those seeds will create a harvest. It depends on what type of seeds are you planting. We covered the 5 pillars of wealth today, which is taxes, business, banking, real estate, and education. We went through those thoroughly. We also went through good debt versus bad debt. So you got an idea of, what is good debt versus what is bad debt, right? You got the consumer mind versus the producer mind, right? And then we covered our announcements, and so yeah, just a few takeaways that you guys can take away from today. And thank you guys for who took the chance to opportunity to conversate with us, and it makes it always fun. We can see what you guys are getting on your side, when you communicate with us. So
And I'm gonna just end this thing off with actually the last thing that was said there. It's all about the delivery. right? How you approach it, right? And what we do here on the Juice Show or any other shows that you guys might come to, right? What we all are inspired to do is to help you guys get value, and hopefully you guys be able to take action on some of the value that we share, right? This is really truly a journey for us all. So thank you guys showing up to the Juice Show again today. Appreciate it. And we'll be back next week with another hot episode for sure. Bobby?
I was just waiting. I was waiting on LaShawn and James.
LaShawn, go ahead.
It's all about individual wants and needs and knowing where to find the information that you need in order to fulfill what your wants are. And then for me, well, not for me, but in my mind, legacy is, how do you want to, be in this world? Legacy sometimes starts with family, but it might go beyond that. It might be a legacy of, something that you have a passion about or a cause is dear to your heart, and you want to be able to donate to that or put your name on the building or some type of event. So legacy goes beyond just your family, depending on how you look at it. So once again, there's always education, there's always support. So there's not a reason why you can't get something you want, but yeah, you do have to do the work in order to get it. Back to you guys.
Love it. So on the screen is a couple of the classes where you can find some of this information. You talk about banking, you got Velocity Banking. We talk about how the wealthy utilize IRS tax codes. You got tax strategies. You got legal and asset protection, which I really love. If you're going to be passing along your assets, you definitely want to know how to do those, whether you utilizing trusts, utilizing wills, understanding the difference between those, right? And that's your voice, even if you're past and gone, your voice and your instructions are still being taken out once that happens. So these are just a list of the classes that we have. A lot of people start off with, which you guys want to know more about it. You can definitely in the next 30 minutes go join Jerry as he do an introduction to our real estate education. And he also talks about our community as well. So you definitely get a lot out of that. Remember, again, we're education pushers. We're about, having the conversations that we wish we'd had growing up at the table, dinner table. Our mission to you guys is to provide you with the highest value of information as possible. Like Bobby said, as a disclaimer, we're not legal professionals, lawyers, accountants, stuff like that. So don't take what we have to share as information, entertainment, or educational purpose. Make sure if you're going to make any decisions, you do that with a competent counsel or professional in that field that you're looking to do it in. So just remember that. So thank you guys for joining us again. Another episode of the Juice Show podcast. We love having you and we love talking about these topics. And we hope that you're getting a lot out of this. Go to the Facebook page, leave us a like, review, or share this with somebody. And we'd love to see you next week on the next episode of the Juice Show.
You have been juiced.
Juice.
All right, till next weekend. We'll see y'all then. We appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all take care.